Good day, Junior Techies, and welcome to this video where we're looking at question 6 of the worksheet in our preparations for our exams. My name is Mr. P. I'm taking you through this question as well as other questions in this section. Let's dive right in. Right, so looking at question 6, and you would have heard me in previous videos, we always get context first. And we can see the context given to us here. It's not written context, but it's simply a diagram 1 and a diagram 2. And in diagram 1, we can see that there are two labels asked of us there. So if we look carefully, we can see that in diagram 1, we have chromosomes aligning with the centromere on the equator. And in diagram 2, we can see that they are on opposite sides of that equatorial line. So that already should give us an idea of what are the two phases we're looking at here. Keeping in mind that this is a question that deals with meiosis, we should get our context from these drawings in that regard. So looking at the first one, we know that this is going to be meiosis 2, particularly now if the chromosomes are arranging themselves like this with the centromere on the equatorial line, we can see that this is metaphase 2. Moving across to diagram 2, we can see that these chromosomes that still are made up out of two chromatids each are moving to opposite poles. We can identify this as firstly meiosis 1, but more specifically anaphase 1 in meiosis. If we look at labels A and B, which is probably going to be one of the questions, and we can see it there in 6.1, we can see label A pointing to the centromere, which holds these chromatids together, and B, we can see the spindle fibers, which attaches the centriole to the specific centromere. If we have a look, we answer accordingly. 6.1a, label A centromere, label B spindle fiber. 6.2, identify the phase represented in diagram 2. Well, we did this when we got context to this question. So it makes the answering of 6.2 so much easier, and we can write down anaphase 1. The importance here being the 1. Anaphase takes place in meiosis 1 and 2, so we need to be really specific when answering this question. Anaphase 1, very, very important. 6.3, state the number of, in A, chromatids in diagram 1. Well, in diagram 1, we've got two centromeres holding together two chromatids each. So we've got a total of 4 chromatids. If we look at question 6.3b, chromosomes in the original mother cell. So let's have a look. We see 4. Because we're looking at diagram 1, meiosis 2, and diagram 2, anaphase 1, we can see the earliest part in meiosis here would be diagram 2, and we can see that in meiosis 1 we still see 4 centromeres, which means that my original cell would have had 4 chromosomes. 6.4, what evidence is visible in diagram 1 that meiosis is responsible for genetic variation? Now we need to be really careful. Is visible means I can see it, and I can see that I've got chromosomes with different colors to them. That means genetic material has been exchanged. I can't see that crossing over has taken place, but what is visible is the different color segments. And because of these different color segments, I can assume crossing over has taken place. And this adds to genetic variation. If we have a look at question 6.5, name and describe the process which is responsible for the evidence mentioned in question 6.4. Name and describe the process for 4 marks. So firstly, we need to name it, crossing over, and there's a definite mark there. Chromatids from each homologous pair overlap at what we refer to as the chiasma. That's the point of crossing over, all right? And we've got the exchange of genetic material. And you'll see I've underlined homologous pairs here because my chromatids don't just cross over with other chromatids from other chromosomes. Chromatids of homologous pairs overlap and exchange genetic material. So there's a couple of important points to remember here. 1, we're talking about chromatids between homologous pairs that overlap. And the process's name, or we call the process, crossing over. DNA segments are exchanged in this process. All right. Well, junior techies, I hope that answering question 6 here of the worksheet questions, us doing this together has given you some insight, firstly, on how to get context from the question, and secondly, looking at how to approach each type of question to make sure that you're answering the whole question, particularly here, question 6.5. Be sure to join me for some other videos in this section. Get your hands on the worksheet and the worksheet memo, as well as the theory booklet to help you prepare for your final examinations. Right, junior techies, thanks for joining me, and I do hope to see you again soon.